All right, let's go. Quick turnaround, babies. Quick turnaround. Sorry for the confusion, too. I realized just now that it said the stream was starting at like 1 or 2 a.m. or something like that. I think I was trying to hit 10 a.m., probably forgot a 0 or something like that. But that is what went down. A little bit of a scramble. I'm going to be honest. I thought we could do this at like 1 p.m. today, ease into the day. And then the stupid Red Sox play at 11 a.m. Happy Patriots Day for all who celebrate. Good luck to Skeets. I think Skeets is running the marathon. That's pretty fun. Let's dive into this game week. You're right, Sean. You're right. We got Manic Auto here, DJ Local. I don't know why the settings changed here on the channel. All right, whatever. Who cares? Let's start with this. Let's just quickly look at this past game week because rewards just hit. Let's go see how we did. We got 4 rewards, but it was a pretty disappointing game week after such a hot start. We won 104 Essence, 2,000 XP. There we go. That's fun. Yeah, like just quickly here, if we go to the play, I'm also going to cancel my lineup, I think, so we can build it together. But if we look at my game week this past week, right? So we had 3 champion lineups. Highest finishing one was with 223 points. Crochet would drop 28 for the Sox. However, unfortunately, the Red Sox suck, and they blew the win opportunity. Chapman only pitched 1 game. Suarez hit a home run in the first game of the series. You had Carroll hit 1. Gurriel hit a home run in the first of the series, but then all 3 of those guys did nothing. Matt McClain got the 40, Tucker with 49, but did not get there. This lineup hit for 213. Same thing. Gilbert fell apart. Clay Holmes has been pitching great, but then whatever. Devers was great. Story was great. Duran, Breggies, and Churio kind of disappointed. And then my A stack was dog shit. I will say we did have a pretty solid. I've been doing really well in the dailies. We had another top finish in the daily contest. I think we finished like 4th or 5th or something. So speaking of which, wait, the background's not there either. What's going on, bro? The other thing I wanted to do quickly before we dive in, I think we have enough essence. We have enough essence, I think. Yeah, we got 1,100. Let's rip something here. Let's craft. Shall we craft for the boys? Let's pump the essence. Let's see how we do. And then what we'll do is we'll break down tonight's slate or this game week slate. We'll do our best. Sean was saying Joe Ryan and Sonny Gray. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, Ruiz didn't even play on Sunday. So you only got 2 Coors games out of our guy Kyber Ruiz. All right, let's see how we do. Oh, love what it's looking like over here on my end. I don't think we're going to be able to see the reveal. That's pretty sick stuff here. That's what we're looking for. Let's do a hard refresh. Really good stuff. Ruiz played 1 game in the double. Oh, he did. He played the second game. Okay. Oh, that's right. I was confusing it with daily. All right, let's see. What did we end up crafting since we weren't able to see it? Ryan Baruki, baby. We love Ryan Baruki, 31-year-old relief pitcher. Go Baruki. Yeah, it was an adjustment they made, Zealy, an adjustment they made this season. I kind of like it though. I kind of like it. I like that instead of just being, because then you're less pissed off if you're like, well, I saved up all of this stuff. You know what I mean? So it's good. I think it's ultimately a good thing. All right, let's dive into this slate. So there's only, I believe, 4 teams here with 4 games this game week. Obviously, the Red Sox finish up their 4-game set against Chicago, and then they start a 3-game set right after that, right? And against Seattle. Now, Seattle is kind of interesting because I believe they're throwing out Brian Wu, Bryce Miller, and then they don't know who the 3rd game is going to, or the 2nd game of that series, who it's going to be. So that, it's not like the best matchup. However, the good hitting environment in Fenway, good weather environment in Boston this week, and it's just the Red Sox offense, who I know has been hot and cold. Shout out Katy Perry and her trip to the moon. But I do think, I still think you're playing them if you have them. The other 4, we've got the Giants, I believe, in a 4-game set. The Brewers are in a 4-game set, but it's not really the best of matchups. And I know I'm blanking on one other team. Giants, Brewers, Sox, and maybe it's White Sox. Maybe it's White Sox also in a 4-game set. Oh, Bednard got recalled. I've got his rare. I got the Bednard rare, baby. Let's do this though. So the rest of the teams will have 3 games this game week. So I think that's going to be kind of interesting how people attack this, because I don't know if the Giants offense is super sexy. I don't think the White Sox offense is super sexy. I do think the Red Sox is, but it's not the best of matchups. And same thing with the Brewers. So I'll be curious how people attack it. Mike Bass in the chat. Hell yeah. What's up, buddy? The other thing, Kyle Tucker, King Tuck, Suzuki, the Chicago Cubbies, I believe only have 2 games this game week. So it's going to be tough to get to your Cubs. So I know you're most likely trying to click King Tuck, Kyle Tucker, but though you save your Cubs for your dailies. Yeah, Taylor, the Giants offense has been pretty good. I just, at home in San Francisco, I'm not super excited about it, but I get it. Your Fitzgeralds, your Chappies, I get it. I also don't own any Giants, so maybe that's why I'm not as excited. But let's start here. The A's have a pretty good matchup this game week. They're getting Corbin the lefty, which means Brent Rooker season. Then they're getting Rocker, who's ranked 87 according to Fantasy Pros, and then Jacob deGrom on Thursday, which obviously deGrom, not the best of matchups. However, also, I should say that's including the weekend game, so don't get too excited about these matchups. You obviously don't want to attack deGrom, but so maybe the A's are an incredible daily play on Tuesday and Wednesday. But looking ahead to this weekend, this is why, man, this weekend the A's are going to be the best. They're going to be at home against Burt, Cannon, and Martin. Holy hell, get ready for the A's. Yeah, we do like Devers. Yeah, Yaz, baby. Shout out Yaz. We got righties on the schedule. All right, let's get Yaz. Dodgers only 2 games tough that does suck. That does suck, excuse me. All right, let's look at the D-backs. D-backs have the Rays. They are at home, but they're getting some pretty good starting pitching. No like elite stuff, although Rasmussen, who was the 3rd game on Thursday, has been pitching really well this season. Taj Bradley was a high strikeout rate, and then Zach Lytle. So D-backs not super exciting. However, they are at home. That's a decent hitting environment. You can get to the D-backs. The Braves have 3 games that start tonight. It's a 3-game set against the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't mind this, man. Fetty Wap is pitching tonight. Then you got Matz, the left-hander, and then Payente, who has relief pitcher eligibility, depending on which card you have. I think the Braves seem to wake up a little bit this weekend, or at least for the one game that I paid attention to, they cooked a little bit. I am someone that owns Payente, so I'm not like super excited to roll him out against this Braves lineup. But the Braves aren't as scary as they once were. But they are waking up. They are at home, so that's good. The O's have a 3-game set against the Natty Bows here. They've got Parker, Trevor Williams, and then Mackenzie Gore, who they'll be squaring away against. They are at Washington, but that's a pretty close. What I don't know. What was the road that connects the Washington field to the Baltimore field? I'm sorry, I'm thinking about my time at the University of South Florida when we played the University of Central Florida, and they'd be like, it's the war on I-4, Interstate 4. No Otani means us non-owners have a shot this game week. Hell yeah, Mike. That's how I'm feeling. O's have been awesome, though, man. They put up some big runs. Although, actually, I think they got smoked this weekend. But they have some real high upside there. They really need Kowser back. I do think that is a hole in the top of their lineup. Not that Kowser's like this big power hitter or anything like that, but he is able to he just sets the table nicely for that offense. Taylor saying there's rain in the forecast in Atlanta. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you for that. I honestly have not checked the weather for any of these spots yet. So outside of Boston. So I need you bros to tell me what's going on. All right, the Red Sox here. So they get Jonathan Cannon today, or James Cannon, or Jared Cannon. I don't know. They get the Cannon. Cannon fodder, if you will, for the Boston Red Sox here. So they get Cannon, the right-hander. Then they get Bryce Miller, who, again, solid pitcher, but low strikeout upside from Miller so far this season. Like, his rate seems a little bit down. And the Red Sox are a high strikeout team. So I don't know. I feel like Miller's probably beatable. Then again, as I mentioned, TBD from Seattle for the second game of that series on Wednesday, and then they close up with Brian Wu. I will say, I wonder if we see Devers sit one of these four. I saw they gave Trevor Story some rest over the weekend. Devers is DHing, so maybe they don't give him some rest, but wouldn't be surprised if some of those Sox rest. I just want to shout out Ceddanne Rafaela has been picking it up a little bit. Cassis also in his work this weekend. He's just looking a little bit more comfortable at the plate. Like Ref Snyder is another guy that you could probably save for daily when they go up against lefties, but it doesn't look like they're going to see a lefty this game week. So Sox are obviously one of the top tier stacks just because they're probably the most potent offense outside of the newfound San Francisco Giants with 4 games this game week. Cubbies, we mentioned 2 games against the Dodgers, right? So there's no game today. And then they play Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, you're saving your Dodgers and Cubs for daily stuff. White Sox, we mentioned, they have 4 games. So they have Walker Buehler tonight or today. I'll be curious to see, like, Buehler, I don't know. I feel like he kind of limits the damage a little bit against, I don't know. I'm not saying play Buehler. I'm just throwing that out there. But then they travel to Minnesota where they get Ober, Festa, and Paddock. I think you're fine with your White Sox. Is Lubob waking up a little bit? They got Benintendi back in the roster after he missed a couple of games. I don't know how the Red Sox keep losing to the White Sox, by the way. That's like 2 series in a row where the White Sox just stealing wins. You're rolling the dice with Buehler and Fetty Wap in limited daily today. There you go. That's unique. That is unique. Cincinnati Reds, man, they dropped, 24 runs yesterday? Was that a 24-2 W? They're going to Miami. They're getting Meyer, Cabrera, and Alcantara. Not the best. Like, you don't really want to target hitters in Miami. Pretty middle of the road stuff, right? Like, I think you can play them there. The Reds, though, like you see, they head to Colorado next weekend. So if you don't own Reds, now's the time to go get them because maybe people aren't excited to play them this game week, but then they head to Colorado next game week, which is pretty fun. The Guardians of the Galaxy are hosting the Skanks, the New York Yankees, and they get Schmidt, Warren, and Rodon. Honestly, I kind of think the Guardians are a sneaky 3-game stack this week. Obviously, Schmidt's fine, but Warren is beatable. And Rodon, I know Rodon is like a super high K upside guy, but Rodon loves to get blown up. Yeah, DJ Local Hayes has been crushing. He's been on a heater because Hayes hits kind of close to McClain in the lineup, or like maybe it's the wraparound. I forget where Hayes is hitting, but I feel like every time I saw like the Reds put up some runs, I'm like, woo, did we get a McClain bomb? And we're like, no, it's Austin Hayes again. But Hayes has been cooking. The Rockies hit the road after being pretty disappointing. They head to Kansas City. The Royals are in a fun spot here. We'll talk about them in a second. But the Rockies are going up against Bubich, Lorenzen, and Reagan. Taylor is in the chat. We saw Tovar. He get put on the 10-day. Doyle's still missing some time, right? Or is he scheduled to be back tomorrow? I know that Doyle's missed it. Or did he play the second game of that lineup, that second game of that doubleheader? I forgot they had a doubleheader, and I did not check the score of that second game. But anyways, Rockies have been super disappointing. I do think you can get some cheap pitching opportunities, though. I know the hitting environment is supposed to be pretty good in Kansas City, but that Rockies lineup sucks, especially outside of Colorado. Oh, Taylor, I did not know that. That's so sad. That's so sad. Oh, man. Poor Doyle family. That's really sad. I'm not really scared of this Rockies lineup, especially if Doyle's out of it, right? You got like Kyle Farmer hitting up near the top. There's no pop outside of Coors Field. So if you need some cheapos, I think you can roll out like a little Bubik, or Reagan's maybe like the start of the week this week. Maybe that's where you go for your starting pitchers. We already talked about the Guardians squaring up against the Skanks, so let's keep scrolling. The Tigers, I feel like the Tigers have been cooking a little bit. So they get Vasquez and Hart here in this game week. Vasquez and Hart. They do face Pivetta. Pivetta, who's like fine, right? But I do think there's a shot at like popping off on. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Reagan's going to strike out 25 if that game doesn't get rained out. Are we expecting a lot of rain in Kansas City, Taylor? Sean is saying, man, maybe I should sell my Cal Raleigh. Yeah, dude, Cal Raleigh has been insane. What does he have? 45 home runs to start the season? Every time I open up the MLB app, it's like, well, Raleigh's going deep, baby. Yeah, Trevor McGill. Shut up, McGill, man. I've been rolling out McGill every single game week. He hasn't been getting there, but it seems fun. Okay. All right. So, yeah, anyways, I think the Tigers, dude, Spencer Torkelson and Kerry Carpenter. I feel like every time the Tigers play a game, one of them hits a bomb. Riley Green, little three-man stack over there. The Astros, baby. Stros taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Not the best matchup for the Stros. They are at home, but they get Gaussman today, Bassett tomorrow, Bowden Francis on Wednesday. Like, none of those pitchers are super dominant, like that they can't get to them. However, I don't know. Like, they only play 3 games. There's better spots. I don't think you need to get to Houston. Obviously, you can still play your Jordans if you want, but I don't think I'd be getting there. Kansas City, though, if you needed to pick a team that only had 3 games that could break the slate and surpass the Giants, White Sox, Brewers, and Red Sox, might be the Kansas City Royals, right? They look at this: Feltner, Marquez, and Dollander. Not great, Bob. Again, we mentioned there could be some rain, as Taylor we talked about on that Thursday game. But Kansas City, one of like the better spots. Obviously, your Bobby Witts, your former Cincinnati Red great Jonathan India, Sally Perez, who if you told me Salvador Perez was 55, I'd believe you. All right, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They get 2 lefties and a righty. They got Falter, they got Heaney, and they got Malinsky. How about Jorge Soler getting 2 lefties? Soler says it. We had to put a bet on somebody to hit 3 home runs this game week. Jorge Soler, one time. Would have been nice yesterday in the DH boost of the daily game, but how about some Soler, some Mike Trout? I don't think you could. Can you play any Taylor Ward? Those are all the Angels I know. That was just me listing off Anaheim names I know. Alvarez has had 5 bombs off Bassett and 19 at bats. Holy crap. Yordan Alvarez is Thanos. Thanos of baseball. Thanos with his ego in check. Dodgers, we already talked about. Not really great pitching matchups. However, Matthew Boyd, who has some upside, can also get blown up. So, obviously, if you have Dodger bats, you can play him in the daily. I don't think you can play him in the full game week. All right, Miami Marlins, we already talked about their pitching side of things. They middle of the road matchup here. You get Lodolo, Martinez, and Abbott. But again, you can find better spots this game week. And speaking of better spots, how about the Brew Crew breakthrough? So they get Robbie Ray tonight. Now, I wonder, do you think people are just going to click Brewers because they have 4 games this game week? Or are they going to look and see, oh, shit, they play Robbie Ray, Jordan Hicks, whatever, Logan Webb, and then Roop? Because I think, I know Robbie Ray is somebody who, you can both play Robbie Ray as a pitcher or you can play the bats against him because he might get 12 strikeouts, but he could also throw 145 pitches in 4 innings, right? He's a wild man, can get blown up. Obviously, Jordan Hicks can get lit up. Logan Webb, a really good pitcher that limits damage. But I don't know. I feel like you still probably want to jam in these Brewers, even though the matchups don't look like A+. And I think you can do it just from the top of the lineup, right? So Churio. Hey, Bryce Turang is out there hitting triples, stealing bases. That's kind of fun. Rhys Hoskins, against lefty masher, Rhys Hoskins. And then also, obviously, Contreras has been in there. Yelich has been in there. So I think you can attack the Brewers. There's your hot take. They got 4 games, and I think you can play the Milwaukee Brewers. Twinkies, shout out Aaron Borland. They're taking on the White Sox. Really fun matchups for them here. Again, you want to talk about another team that could light it up in a 3-game series. You got Dean Martin. That's not his real name, but I like saying that. Martin Perez and Smith. So maybe do we finally get the Wallner and Lornick run? Oh, yeah. Shout out our guy Frelick. That's right. Sal. Is it Sal Frelick? But do we finally get that Wallner-Larnach upside that I've been waiting for? The reason that I scooped up all my Twinkies before the season started. Byron Buxton, I think he hit a bomb over the weekend, or if not, it was right before the weekend. Oh, Wallner's on the IL? Gosh darn it. No wonder why he hasn't been popping off. Who's been low-key pretty solid for them? Jeffers. Little Jeffers has been out there just doing some stuff. Willie Castro is day-to-day. I don't know if he's back. I saw that he was day-to-day, or I just saw the notation on it. Okay, that makes sense that Wallner's on the IL, because I've been wondering, where are my Wallner stats, bro? So he's going to be out for a while. That sucks. Mets, I got to tell you guys, the vibes are good for the New York Knicks, but The vibes are very good in the city for the Mets. That bar we went to that I mentioned during the NBA bid for the Clippers and Nuggets game, it's a Mets bar. Vibes are good. People are happy. Juan Soto doing some stuff. Guys like Clay Holmes slicing and dicing. The Mets are taking on the Philadelphia. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. The Phillies here. Aaron Nola. Is Aaron Nola washed? So, anyways, the Mets are at home taking on Nola, Sanchez, and Wheeler. This is not the matchup for the faint of hearts, right? It's tough because if you own these Phillies pitchers, like you want to play them. You want to play them because these are good pitchers. Christopher Sanchez had himself a game week last week, right? Where didn't he like mow down 12 guys in a W for the Phillies? However, it's like you're putting him up against a Mets lineup who's got like Mark Vientos hitting 6, and that guy can launch bombs. Although I think Vientos got dinged up in that game over the weekend. Alonso has been hot, huh? Alonso runs. There's a great tweet going around being like, can you believe this guy makes this much money and runs like this? And he was trying to do a first to third, and he's running like when Luke Cornett runs as a bit. But anyways, it's going to be tough to play the Mets offense against guys like Nola, Sanchez, and Wheeler, but it's also going to be tough playing those pitchers against the Mets lineup. So maybe those are reserved for daily. I mean, obviously, if you've spent big money on guys like Francisco Lindor and Alonso and Soto, you're still rolling them out there. But the pitchers, I think I'd probably just save for daily and then see what happens. Yankees got a decent matchup this game week. So they got Gavin Williams, Tanner Bibee, and Luis Ortiz. I think it's Luis. Luis Ortiz might also be on the Brewers. No, that's Joey or Jesse. Who cares? But anyways, Yanks, yeah, you can play them. You can play them. They're fine. They're fine. I don't think there's any hot takes. It's at Cleveland, so it's a hitting ballpark downgrade, but whatever. I didn't realize McGill was starting. What the hell? I thought McGill was in a relief pitcher. Interesting. All right. Phillies are taking on the Mets like we were just talking about. It's McGill, Canning, and Peterson. So on the Phillies side of stuff, their offense woke up over the weekend. Shout out Kevin Roth from Roto Grinders. He called out. Oh, that's his brother? They got the McGill Bros on the same team? Oh, my God. The Brewers have 4 games this game week, and they got 2 Bros on the same team. Oh, wait. No. I'm an idiot. Guys, don't worry. Is one of them named Tyler? Is it Tyler McGill and Yeah, it is Tyler McGill. Okay, I'm back, guys. I'm back. Don't worry. We're back. Phillies offense woke up. I was mentioning the hitting environment for one of those games. Kevin Roth on Roto Grinders was like, hey, there's going to be a lot of bomb.coms. And there was. They exploded for offense. Yeah, you can play the Phillies, though, right? You can play the Phillies against McGill, Canning, and Peterson. Pirates are getting Soriano. I kind of like low-key like this Soriano matchup. I don't think I'm rolling him out in I don't think I'm rolling him out in the full game week, but for daily, I think Soriano's fun. Coconuts. I don't know, man. Coconuts, dude. I don't know who that is. And then Tyler Anderson. Dude, you can roll the Pirates out. Pirates, 3 games this game week. You can roll the Pirates out. Brian Reynolds season. O'Neal Cruz has been heating up a little bit. Couldn't tell you anybody else in that roster right now. But Pirates, those are good matchups. Tyler Anderson has been like limiting damage, but you can also light him up. We light him up. All right, let's go. San Diego Dads taking on the Detroit Tigers. They got Montero, Flaherty, and Reese Olson. Pretty middle of the road, but San Diego's been playing well. I don't think that's a great matchup, but it's not the worst matchup. Let's talk about the Giants, though. They get the Priester, who was just recently acquired in a trade with the Sharks. Jose Quintana, Freddie Peralta, and Patrick here on the 4th game. Yeah, so who are the Giants you're focused on? I saw Yastrzemski got mentioned in the chat. We got Fitzgerald, who's been warming up a little bit. Matty Chaps. Yeah, you could. I guess I'm sleeping on the Giants. I'm a sleeping giant, if you will. I'm sleeping on the Giants. Maybe let's look at Sorare Marketplace here for a second. Let's go look at what these Giants bats look like here in the marketplace. Let's go to the marketplace. Ramos, Adames, even Flores. Yeah, Adames, revenge. We doing revenge against Adames against his own team. Ramos is a good call. I didn't think about Ramos. And then who else were we just talking? Flores is pretty. Am I confusing Flores? Isn't Flores like pretty hitter dependent? But I guess they are getting lefties, right? So let's look at Giants here. And then let's look at just the hitters. Corner infielder, middle infielder, outfielder. All right, let's see what we got here. Limited only, please. We're poor boys. Po boys. Wilmer Flores, there you go, $6. Lamont Wade Jr., $6. Willie Adames, $10. Tyler Fitzgerald, $10. Matty. Okay, so they're priced appropriately, right? They're priced appropriately there. So if you got him, you got him. You know, if you got him, you play him. You play him. Wilmer started off hot, cooled off a bit. Yeah, Wilmer just lefty masher for the last like 25 years. Lefty masher, Wilmer Flores. All right, let's finish up these matchups. Then I'm going to build some lineups here because we got lock soon. Shout out Matic Auto for being here. How about that? How about that, Matic Auto? How about we shut you up, brother? Why can't I get rid of this? I don't want to sync my league. No. Hold on. What's going on? I don't want to sync my league, bro. All right. Anyway, sorry. We're back. Let's take a look. It's in a book, Reading Rainbow. Mariners get the Sox, kid. So Mariners might be just fun daily plays here. Although this says they're facing off Newcomb twice. I'm going to tell guys, I'm going to go. This is my hot take. I don't think they're going to face Newcomb 2 times. I think Sean Newcomb probably only pitches one of those games. I will say, though, I'm calling it now. That daily, whatever day Newcomb actually does pitch here, I want to attack Mariners bats. Newcomb has no control, can get blown up. I know he's got some stuff still, like he's not bad, but he can like that calls like a Mariners daily stack right there. So get your Mariners stack ready for whatever day Newcomb pitches. But again, my hot take is Newcomb doesn't pitch 2 days in a row. The Cards get like the shit end of the stick here with the Braves. Cards offense has been meh. They had a tough weekend against the Mets. They get Schwellenbach, Strider, and then Bryce Elder. You're probably avoiding the Cards. Good pitching matchups, though. I do think you can throw like even Bryce Elder on the daily on Wednesday as like your second pitcher in your flex spot would be fun. Strider and Schwellenbach, both great spots. Rays, we mentioned, they get tough spots here with Arizona. I think you can just avoid them here. I don't think we're playing our Rays bats for a while because it's then Eduardo Rodriguez, Corbin Burns. Then they get King, Cease, and Vasquez next weekend against the Dads. So probably avoiding that spot. We got 3 teams left. Rangers are in Oakland. So again, ball's been flying out of Sacramento. Shout out Ladybird. Bido's throwing for them. Then they got JP Sears and Ginn. So I don't know. Like, I think maybe you could do some one-offs there. Oh, there you go, Mike Basson. Hell yeah, brother. Now we're talking. I love that shit. Mainly because the big TV. I don't, your girlfriend's fine. I'm not trying to get involved. Then we get the Blue Jays against the Stros. Anyway, sorry. The Rangers, I think, are a team you could attack here this weekend or the beginning of this week, even though they only have 3 games. Blue Jays here, Hunter Brown, Blanco, Gustavo. Blue Jays really not the best matchup except for that last day. And then last but not least, the Natties get Kramer, Sagano, and Povich. Dude, Nationals have been red hot to start the season. Coming off of Coors Field. I wonder if people are like, oh, Washington left Coors. We don't have to play them anymore. Natty Bows, man. Natties have been hot. I think you could play them. In against Baltimore there. There we go, baby. That was 30 minutes of fury to get us caught up. Let's do some lineup building. Also, for the people that are here, who are the teams with 3 games that you're attacking a little bit more? Assuming I'm assuming you've ranked your stacks based on the chat so far. Giants, Red Sox, Brewers, and then White Sox for the teams with 4 games. What are you doing with the teams from 3 games? Like, who are your favorite spots there heading into this game week, which, again, locks in 40 minutes. So we got to set our shit right now. I'm going to be asking for help. I need you to be helpful, not hurtful. All right? Helpful, not hurtful. That's the motto of this channel. All right, I'm assuming Crochet, Mr. Crochet. Also, I saw somebody go viral there on Nesson and on the internet. Someone who was crocheting for every crochet start and was like making blankets or some shit. That's cool. I like that. So let's start with Crochet. The question I wanted to ask you all next here for the relief pitcher spot. How would you handle this? Now, do you throw out Bowden Francis, who is a relief pitcher that gets a start, who gets the Astros? Piente against the Braves. Clay Holmes isn't going to start this game week. Or would you go to a reliever like Chapman, who has 4 games against the Mariners and has only pitched once in the last 4 days? You've got Jansen against the Pirates, who's only pitched once in the last couple of days. You got Mason Miller against the Rangers, Munoz against the Mariners. I don't think it makes sense to throw Munoz out there against Crochet. We also have McGill against the Brewers with 4 games. So I guess it's like, are you ranking starters ahead of, because I think Chapman and McGill are probably the 2 go-tos there, although I don't know if the Brewers are going to win any of these games. Where would you lean from the relief pitcher standpoint? All right, the stacks are coming in from my question. You got Reds, Rangers, Nats, Royals. Reds at Miami. People love the Reds, even though it's at Miami. Padres at Detroit, Rangers at A. Closers have a high ceiling. All right, so you're saying it's closers. All right, let's get Chapman in there. Let's just run the stack out. Hasn't pitched a ton. And then I'm just going to throw my Red Sox in here because that's what I have. So we're going to start with Devers. Devers going deep, baby. We got Devers over there. Let's throw Story in there as well. Kyle Tucker projecting for 25 with only 2 games is crazy sauce. Let's get Duran in there, and then I think we throw Breggy. And then the other thing I was going to ask you, do you guys prefer? So we could roll out. Look at all these socks, dude. We could roll out Churio or Contreras. Who's your favorite Brewer? Let me rattle off some other options in here, so I can get some help from the chat. We've got. Let's see. Some other options here. We've got Corbin Carroll with 3 games against Tampa, but we already mentioned that pitching matchup's not the best. Kyle Tucker, 2 games, can't do it. Then you got Churio. We mentioned the A's are in a pretty good spot against these Rangers, but I think I want to save them from daily. We also have Garrett Mitchell. Oh, no, that's Trevor McGill. Jesus. Contreras over here. Buxton, we mentioned in really good spots. You got the A's and Lawrence Butler. It does kind of feel like it's down to. You mentioned the Reds, Friedel, do. I don't know. What does the chat say? What does the chat say? Chat says Churio over Contreras. This is the opposite of NBA live before lock. You mean because we don't have crazy injury news? Yeah, my only concern with Churio is I think our guy Lowell put the exact same lineup in the chat there. But there we go. All right, so this is my main lineup here. Crochet, Chapman. We got all the Sox, man. From Boston, Devers, Story, Duran, Bregman, and Churio. Let's confirm the lineup. Now, for the second lineup here, I was curious, do you guys should I just, because I still have Cassis and Contreras. So should those be my 2 building blocks for this team just because they have 4 games? Just throw in both of them. All right, so here's our starting pitching options. Lodolo against Miami. I think he's back. I think I'm just going to roll Lodolo because we got Bryce Miller against the Sox. I don't really love that. Boyd against the Dodgers. Bueller against the Mariners. Probably going to use that. Actually, probably Rasmussen here. Maybe some Rasmussen. We got Robbie Ray against the Brewers. Blanco, I mentioned. Oh, no, DeGrom. We'll throw DeGrom out there against the A's, even though it's a good hitting environment. So we'll throw DeGrom. Let's throw, we're going to either do McGill or Munoz here. Oh, so we have Hoffman against the Astros. That's fine, too. Mason Miller. Let's throw Miller in there. Even though that feels, no, we can do it. I was going to say that feels counterintuitive, but we'll do it. There we go. There, you think by a lot. Taylor is the guy. When I was saying we should play some of these 3-game series over the 4-game series just a couple weeks ago, Taylor was like, "That's stupid, dude. That's stupid. Take the at-bats. You know what we should do here? I really do like the A's matchup here. So let's take DeGrom out of this lineup. Let's throw Lodolo in there because I do like some Lodolo. And then let's do some athletics. Let's do an athletic stack because I really do like them. We're looking at corner infielders now, sir. Let's do the athletics. Let's get Brent Rooker in there. Let's get Contreras in this one. Then let's look at some more athletic stuff. We got JJ Bleday, Lawrence Butler. Let's do Lawrence Butler. Let's do Soderbaum. Here, and then let's flex it with Carroll. Let's flex it with Corbin Carroll. How do you guys feel about this? How do we feel about it? Tell me what we're doing. Do we like this? Is this okay? Do we think this is directionally accurate? Are we okay with the A's stack, or am I overrating the Rangers matchups? I know they get DeGrom in one of them, but the other 2 are pretty bad, right? Or should I be saving my A's stack for later? I think my next one is going to have some Reds in it. I think we're going to have McLean and Friedel Deedle in our next one. But I kind of like this throwing. So we got Contreras with 4 games, Carroll obviously elite, and then just 3 A's with Lodolo. And then listen, if these A's pop off, maybe Mason Miller gets a couple of. All right, so that's number 2. Let's throw DeGrom in this next one since we're not in trouble against the A's lineup in that one, right? So then maybe one of them does well. We could also go Rasmussen, but I think we'll save Rasmussen for the daily. I think that'll be kind of fun. Let's go DeGrom here. And then a relief pitcher. Maybe we throw Munoz. Maybe we do Hoffman, although Hoffman has had a couple of days off. Or McGill. Let's do McGill. Let's do McGill, since people seem to like McGill with 4 games. All right, I mentioned I think we're going to throw Cassis in this one. Oh, I have Rhys Hoskins too. Should I just throw Contreras and Hoskins in this? Because what if we do? Hold on, let's see some Reds. McLean. Let's do some more Reds. Some Friedel Dadel. And then we have Contreras again. We have 2. I forgot we had 2 Contreras. Is that the plural version? Contreras. And then let's see what we've got here. We could do Hoskins with 4. How do we feel about Reese DC? Do we like Rhys Hoskins this game week? I kind of like this. 2-man red stack, 2-man brew stack with Cassis. So we got 4 games, then 2 3-gamers. I kind of like that. Let's do it. Confirm the lineup. Those are our 3 squads. I'm going to build some dailies, but while I do the daily, do me a favor. What's your favorite champion lineup that you're rolling out? Let's go to play. Why does it keep doing that when you go? Sometimes this site sucks, guys. Let me make sure we get our 3 in there. It says Lodolo is out, but I'm pretty sure he's starting tonight, right? Am I wrong with that, or we got Lodolo starting? Let's look at the dailies here. Let's do our favorite spot here. So maybe we throw Bueller against the White Sox. I don't hate that. We go throw Bueller and then Robbie Ray. Maybe Robbie Ray in the same squad here. So we'll throw Bueller in there. We'll maybe have to throw Hoffman against the Astros. We've got the Yanks. We're down to Goldschmidt there. Maybe we just do a Yankee stack against the Guardians. Why not? Throw Jazz Chisholm in there. Outfield, we could go Rafaela, Riley Green against the Pads. I don't really love that. Garrett Mitchell, don't really love that. Wow, we're kind of out of options today, huh? I feel like what happened to all my cards? Maybe just Volpe. Actually, maybe Bo Naylor. Let's get some Bo Naylor. Let's mix it in there. And then our last spot, Robbie Ray. That's actually this is a competitive one. All right, Reese. All right, Lodolo is back. Okay, so I don't have to freak out about that. I don't know why I just like saying the name Lodolo. It's a fun name. And then what is the other one? Bullpen show? So what's the rules here on the bullpen? Does that mean it's all relief pitchers or busts? Starting pitcher slot is set to relief pitcher. Okay. Wow, let's do it. Although I don't think I have a lot of relief pitchers left. We don't. We're going to have to throw Slayton and Cade Smith into the lineup. There you go. That's fun. We don't have any corner infielders left, but whatever. We'll throw Volpe in there. We'll throw Riley Green in there. Let's throw Austin Wells in there. And then let's have, Cannon, sure. Let's throw Jonathan Cannon. Bang. Bang, bang. All right, there we go. Those are the daily squads. Let me see what are you guys rolling out there this game week? How are we feeling? Also, did you guys do okay this game week? I feel like this was a really difficult game week. I thought I had a good feeling for it. But I guess when you have a team like the Reds drop 24 runs when everybody's got 3 games in the game week, it's probably pretty hard to make up that, right? Because you had the Brewers drop 14 in a game. The Reds dropped 24 in a game. You had Coors Field kind of fail. You had one good Coors Field day, but not really. That was kind of it. The Cubs Diamondbacks seemed like that was going to be a pretty important series, but really the move on Friday was to play all of the Cubs and Diamondbacks and then not play them Saturday and Sunday. If you played them in daily, right? We saw like 4 or 5 home runs in that game. I will say Kyle Tucker's awesome. Just like monitoring what Kyle Tucker was doing, where he's like, I think he had like 2 triples over the weekend, maybe 4 extra base hits. He's been on a heater. But yeah, this was a tough one just because of the 11 o'clock start time, you know. The 11 o'clock start time is brutal. But should be a fun one. I think we'll get a good feel tonight. I think the Red Sox, in order to get there on this 4-game week, like not that Wu and Miller aren't beatable, but I think they need to put up a big crooked number against Cannon today, and then to get off to a hot start. Because I think, you know, you could, if they put up like 8 or 9 today, and then they're held to like 4 in those other matchups against Miller and Wu, then it's okay. But they got to put up a big number today. There you go, Mike Basson. Hell yeah. That Friday, yeah, that was nuts. That was a nuts game. All right, Taylor's top squad. He's got Reagans out there, McGill, Chapman, Matt Chapman, Bobby Witt, Jr., Luis Robert, Devers and Duran. That's fun. That's fun. So you got one-offs of Lubob, Chap, and Witt with a Devers Duran stack. I keep calling them. It's like Jared Duran and Jalen Duran. It's tough. It's tough to keep track of. It's tough to keep track of. All right, dogs. I think we're gonna call it there. We're going to call it there. 40 minutes of fury with a little Sorare MLB. Just a reminder, we're back on this channel live at 3 o'clock for Sorare NBA. We'll break down not just tonight's slate, but also tomorrow's slate as well. So make sure you tune into that. That'll be a good time. We'll get ourselves ready. We'll talk some Splash Sports, go over all things fantasy for the next 2 days. Maybe we can check in to see how Marathon Monday went for the Beantown boys on Patriots Day. And then if you're not tuning into the NBA Bit, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., baby, on the NBA Bit channel. So good stuff, everybody. Best of luck this game week. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we normally won't do this at fucking 10 a.m., but Boston ruined it for everybody. Hope you got your lineups in. And hey, maybe we do better this game week because people weren't locked in and aren't making their lineups yet. That's what we can all hope for. All right, we're out, skis. Have a good one.